As you can tell from the title below, this video is Simon is a VR to Simon's hashtag get to know your tarot tubers A to Z. Okay, I did that from memory, so I hope I got that correctly. I love Simon. I've been watching Simon. I think Simon was my first, I think he was my gateway into Tarot Tube as a viewer. And I don't know, he really came up with a very charming hashtag. So let's begin. I didn't prepare too much. The only thing I did was I scanned through to if there's any question about a deck or, you know, but I like to not write down my answers because I'm curious to see what I come up with. Yeah, so let's begin. Age, 51. Book, my favorite book. So, I actually do have a favorite book of all time, and it is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. This was assigned, when I was in college, this was assigned reading for a literature class, and it has stayed with me ever since. This copy, I was glad to get this copy. This is the original 1818 text, edited by D.L. MacDonald and Kathleen Scherf. So I got this later on. I got it at a rare and used bookstore, and I reread this many times. I've reread it many times, and I know I'll read it again. It's the world's first science fiction book. Written by a woman, obviously, Mary Shelley. The neoclassic era of English literature is my favorite. So it's that combined neoclassic / romantic era of English literature. Favorite. What I can say. This book when I read this book, I read it because it was assigned reading. And what stayed with me, I think the theme of the literature class was innocence in the real world. So this is the one that stuck with me. We also read Candide and a few other ones, A Catcher in the Rye. But this one stayed with me, and it's because I really relate strongly to Frankenstein's monster. So there's book, favorite. All right, career you wanted to be when you were a kid and what it actually is now. Oh my God, completely, a totally different world. When I was a kid, I'm a Leo Sun, Libra Moon, Virgo rising. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a movie star. Seriously, I wanted to be an entertainer. A movie, like an old school Hollywood movie star, entertainer. I grew up in the 70s where we had these superstars that crossed over into different genres, right? Like, you know, my idol was and still is Dalida. And that's the kind of entertainer I wanted to be, you know, singing, movies, television, just a well-rounded entertainer. Live shows, all that stuff. All right, what happened? Well, out of high school, I first applied for business administration because, you know, to please my dad, and I didn't last. I flunked out of accounting with a very embarrassing grade, 22%. And then I did a college diploma in creative arts. And then from there I went into nursing. And that's, I've been a nurse now for over 30 years. All right. Dream. My dream is to live near the ocean. Yeah. Actually, if I could live in a forest that's near the ocean, that would be perfect. If I could live in a forest surrounded by mountains near the ocean, awesome. So that's my dream. Essential item. So I watched some other people's videos, and as much as I don't disagree with cell phone being an essential item. To be perfectly honest, if I didn't have my glasses, um, I couldn't do anything. So my glasses are my essential item. I know it's very, it's very lame, but they are. Favorite RWS deck. Okay, so I have. I cheated. My favorite will always be, whether I use it or not, the original one I had. Like my, this, it wasn't mine in the 80s, but this is basically a 1980s RWS with papery, waxed papery cardstock or waxed cardboardy cards. Beautiful, like cardstock. With the soft blues. Well, it's muted. It's more muted than the ones you find today. So this will always be, and the backs, you see there, the backs are not high contrast like the current one, or the more recent ones. So this will always be my favorite because it's the one that started it all. The next one, because I had to cheat. Then I have two other ones, and I guess it's the one that I use all the time for reading, and it's my workhorse. It's my commemorative centennial. So this is the one that I always use for public readings, client readings, and then my personal, my favorite, I don't even know how to describe it, but this is the one that I just adore, and it's my hoi polloi. So yeah, I cheated. I have 3 RWS decks because they're my 3 favorites. They're my 3 number ones for different reasons. And I thought I could get away with it because it's my channel. Okay. I'm just noticing the lighting's a little strange. It's gloomy outside, and I'm relying on what natural light comes in, and yeah. And I'm au naturel today, because if I was going to wait until I had makeup on and everything and my hair done to record a video, it wasn't going to happen today. Anyway, I digress. Gold or silver? Silver. Silver. I have a. On my complexion, silver suits me better. Silver or white gold, or platinum, or any kind of white metal. And yeah, height 5'6". Maybe I'm 5'5.5" now, but 5'6". Ideal day. Oh my goodness, what would be an ideal day? An ideal day would be one where I could fit in everything I want to do that day. That would be an ideal day. No matter what that would be, right? For me, for instance, today an ideal day would be if I got all my household chores done, the cooking and the cleaning, the laundry and all that stuff, and still had time to do something I enjoy, like play with tarot, little spell casting, maybe zhuzh up my altar. You know what I mean? Like that for me, an ideal day is one that there's enough time to get all the things I want to get done. Funniest joke. Okay, so there's only one joke that comes to mind whenever I read the word joke, and it's a joke that I think it was one of my uncles that he would tell it all the time. It was his favorite joke in the world, and of course my uncle's Italian, so I'm gonna try to. I may flub it because I haven't told this joke in ages, but it still makes me chuckle. So here we go. So this man dies and goes to heaven, and when he gets to heaven, there's St. Peter at the pearly gates, lets him in, and takes him down this long corridor. It's all white and stark white and beautiful and luminous. It's very quiet. It's quiet like a library. So the angel who walks him to his room says, well, I'll come get you when it's mealtime. And he says, oh, okay, ooh, I'm in heaven. It's going to be really good. Italians, it's all about the food, right? So it's breakfast time. The angel comes to get him and takes him to the dining room, and he's the first one there. And he's saying, oh my gosh, I'm the first one here, so I get first dibs on whatever it is. The chef comes, puts a plate in front of him, and it's a sandwich. So he looks down at the sandwich. He looks at the chef. The chef walks away. Now, in heaven, there is a window to look down into hell. So he looks down into hell, and one, the dining room is packed, and two, there's this big buffet, and there's all kinds of, and every food imaginable is there. Every, like, there's all kinds of really, beautiful food, and he's staring at his freaking sandwich. Okay, he figures, oh, well, maybe the big meal in heaven is lunchtime. So he eats a sandwich. Lunchtime comes, the angel comes to get him, escorts him to the dining room. He's, again, the first one there. He's starting to wonder, like, where is everybody and why am I the first one here? Chef comes, puts down a sandwich. He looks at the sandwich, looks at the chef. The chef walks away. Looks down into hell. Same kind of deal. The dining room is packed. There's a full buffet. It's seafood, surf and turf. It's all kinds of stuff. It's all kinds of decadence. He's looking at his plain little sandwich, with a little sliver of meat in it. And he's going, maybe, he says to himself, the big meal is at supper time. Supper time comes. The angel comes to get him, to escort him to the dining room. Again, he's the first one there at this point. Yes, the angel, he says, am I the first one here? And the angel says, yeah. Oh, okay. So he figures he's going to stick around a little bit, and it's going to be a nice, maybe it's going to be an 8-course meal. Who knows, right? He's like very excited. The chef comes, brings him a sandwich, 2 slices of bread, a little sliver of meat. And he looks at the chef, and before the chef can take off, he grabs him by the wrist. He says, hang on. Chef looks at him and says, what's the matter? Well, I can't help but notice that I'm in heaven. This is my 3rd meal here. And it's a sandwich made of 2 slices of bread, plain, with a little sliver of meat. And then I look down into hell, and they're having a buffet, the dining, and I'm like the first one here. I should have a lot to choose from, and it's like I should have first dibs. And I look down into hell, and it's like there's a party going on, and the dining room is packed, and they have like these lavish buffets and everything. The champagne is flowing. Exasperated, the cook looks at the man and says, honestly, you think I'm going to cook for one person? That was my uncle's favorite joke. One person in heaven. Anyway. All right. Kids. I have 2 kids. They're teenagers. They're 16 and 18. They're daughters. Living arrangements. Well, I live in a house with my husband, my children, my father-in-law, and my dog. Marseille deck fave. Yeah, see, for me, Marseille decks, they're not my fave. So I still have it because I haven't rehomed it yet. I have the Tarot de Marseille by Mary Packard, but it's not my fave because Marseille is not my fave. I think it's because during my formative years, the person I knew who read Marseille was kind of creepy. And I find Marseille to be, how I struggle with Lenormand because it's too loud, too fast, too loud, too much information. I find Marseille to be the same way, which is funny, right? It's like people will typically say that pips require a lot of work, whereas I find Marseille to be just too much predictive information at once, and it frightens me a little bit sometimes. So no Marseille for me. Nicknames. I have a few. Uh, so, as a child, the one I hated because I didn't know what it meant was La Papesse. I thought it was an insult because I didn't know that that was the popus, or you know what I mean. I guess it was my demeanor as a Leo child, reading cards and everything like that. So my Zia would call me La Papesse, and then that was anglicized by my cousin to Papace, which also did not make me feel like it was a compliment. My name's Mary Grace. I've been going by Grace since grade 3, since my grade 3 teacher decided there were too many Marys in the class, and Mary Grace was too long. No, not bitter, but anyway, it's okay. And I'm also, well, I'm known as Rue from Rue's Kitchen. I've been Rue for decades. My dad picked that name for me, he said, because Rue is both medicinal and poison at the same time, pretty much like me. We had a complicated relationship. All right. Where am I? Oracle. So this one just says Oracle, right? So, well, I've shared with you my favorite oracles, such as soul cards and my vintage wisdom. So for today, instead, I decided I'd dig out my first ever oracle. So this was my first ever. So if I go back, right, I had the RWS, this deck, for the longest time. I read with one of these, and then I then got a Morgan Greer, and I mentioned this before. But this was my first tarot deck. And this was my first non-tarot deck, which would be essentially what I feel falls under Oracle. And it's called Les Cartes de la Révélation Intérieure. This is série 1. There's 3 series. There's 3 in the series. I have 1 and 2, but this is the first one I ever purchased. I purchased this at a metaphysical shop in my town, and it was on my end of town, like not downtown, like really literally in my neighborhood, called La Forêt Enchantée, the Enchanted Forest. And for me, this will always be a beautiful, sentimental deck. Here's a title card. The artist is Québécoise. And I just love these. They are, the height of New Age art. And I adore them. So on one side, you have the artwork. And it's all the same artist. The creator is Annette Gauthier, and she both painted these paintings and wrote the guidebook. And on the back of every card, this one is called Offering. On the back of every card is the description of the card, the meaning of the card in both French at the top and translated to English right below it. So this one is Offering, and it says, to drink from the cup of life, accept its flowing change, and in the offering, feel the elevation. So what I love, what I really love is that it's a literal translation. It's not polished to interpretation. It's literal translation, and I'm bilingual, and I just find it freaking charming. But these, and now that I'm looking at them, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I really should be. I really miss them. These were my constant companions. These helped me through a really, really difficult and painful transition time in my life. And therefore, this is not a deck that if I would see it for the first time today, I would be drawn to. But these are my old friends. These are the faces of spirit guides that to me are old friends, and I absolutely adore it. So that's my Les Cartes de la Révélation Intérieure by Annette Gauthier. I think these are like if you're French speaking and you know, I think you could still find these in some form. Um, I've seen the artist creator on Facebook. So yeah, just look at this and this packaging like this and this. Well, this was independently produced. So I guess I'm a liar, liar, pants on fire because my first ever Oracle deck was in fact independently produced. So was my second one because then I got the second one in the series. The third one in the series is mass produced. My daughter has it, and it's not as, you know, not the nice card. This is linen cardstock and linen finish, even the box, right? So anyway, that was a long time to talk about Oracle. Passionate about I'm passionate about magic. I'm passionate about manifestation. I'm passionate about bending energy and yeah, just witchcraft in general. I'm passionate about divination. I'm passionate about prevention in health, like, you know, health prevention or prevention of disease. Like, you know, I'm passionate about, you know, taking control of our lives with whatever tools are at our disposal. So yeah. And quote. So I couldn't just stop. Oh no, quote. Okay. Oh, okay, I see what I did here. Sorry. Because I copied and pasted the quotes that I wanted to share. And then I thought that was like the last one, but no, it's A to Z, not A to Q. Okay. For me, I love quotes. For me, the right quote is concentrated wisdom. It's for me, quotes actually are part of my. They fall under spirituality in terms of how, like I said, the well-crafted quote, the really well communicated thought, sentiment. Can affect me so profoundly that it stays with me for a lifetime. So instead of just picking one at random, I'm going to share the ones that have stayed with me, and because I knew I was going to flub it in front of the camera, I actually have them in front of me so I could just read them, because otherwise I'm going to make a mingus. So wait, let me just prepare here quickly. All right, here we go. Oh, wait a second. Okay, so I'm going to come after the quote, I'm going to come back to Oracle because there's one I wanted to share as well. There's another one I wanted to share that's really unique. Okay, quote. The first quote that is my favorite it's my favorite Albert Einstein quote, and it is, people like us who believe in physics know that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. So that's one. My next two favorite quotes, well, no, are by Dante Alighieri. The first one is from Paradiso. It's from the Divine Comedy, and it's from Paradiso. Like him that sees in a dream, and after the dream, the passion wrought by it remains, and the rest returns not to his mind, such am I. For my vision almost wholly fades, and still there drops within my heart the sweetness that was born of it. And my other favorite one of my favorite Dante Alighieri quotes is, "The path to paradise begins in hell." So, like I said, for me, these are quotes that have remained with me for a lifetime, and I have more. I have two more I want to share with you. Three more. Mary Shelley, this is from her novel Frankenstein. I was born innocent and good. Misery made me a fiend. And that's a quote, Frankenstein's monster says that. And the other one is also a quote by the monster. And it is, I have love in me, the likes of which you can scarcely imagine, and rage, the likes of which you would not believe. If I cannot satisfy the one, I will indulge the other. And last but not least is a quote that chokes me up whenever I read it. It's a modern quote. So much so I used it, I quote it in my own book, Italian Folk Magic. It's the first thing you read on the introduction, and it's by Mitch Albom from his novel One More Day. But there's a story behind everything. How a picture got on a wall, how a scar got on your face, sorry. Sometimes the stories are simple, and sometimes they are hard and heartbreaking. But behind all your stories is always your mother's story, because hers is where yours begin. I didn't think I was going to get choked up because you know what I mean, but anyway, I did. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm going to go back to Oracle quickly, just to, because I don't want to forget. Another Oracle that I wanted to share with you is one that is, I'm sure it's out of print, and it was, when I got this, it used to be available in both English and French. Maybe the page, it's by Ludex Games from 1987. And it is Stars and Dice. It's consult your future destiny with this accurate and entertaining tool. It comes with dice, obviously stars and dice, and it is an oracle that is based on numerology, astrology, and the I Ching. Yeah, I think I got that all. These are what the dice look like. So you roll the dice, and then you read your interpretation. And this is what, let's say, you roll the dice. It comes with a personal chart where you write down the numbers for each the person's birthday. So it's really, it sounds more complicated than it actually is. So you would put the first die is date of birth, second die is today's date, third die is complementary element, and then total number of stars. It is, I love this thing. I think I've only used it a couple of times myself. I've only used mine a couple of times because my Kuma Terry, Kuma means Kumara in really dialect Italian, and is someone that you consider a godmother, or someone you consider to be more like a soul sister, really. And this is one of her mythic, the original Mythic Tarot and Stars and Dice is her methods that she's used for decades. So I've always had my Stars and Dice done by her, but I keep these because, well, why would I get rid of them? Like I said, they live on my shelf. They don't ask for anything. I don't have to feed them, and they're sentimental. All right. Relationship status. I am married, and I mentioned in the previous video we celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary on February 29th. Or 5th wedding anniversary if we're going to make that comment, but it's 20 years and it's been amazing. Season. My favorite seasons. Okay, so I think it's just, let me just say that I love living where there's 4 seasons. Fall is my favorite season. Second is See, fall is my favorite season, and I think it's because it's that just coming down from the height. It's the, it's the second harvest. It's and then it's starting, and then the year is starting to wind down and settle into the sleep of winter. But I couldn't live anywhere that was just one season. Like, as much as I love fall, I really, I have to say that every time I get to the end of one season, I'm looking forward to the next one. Right now, I'm looking forward to spring. And spring, I will look forward to summer, except summer for me becomes tiresome quicker than all the other seasons because I don't fare well in hot weather. No. No, I'm uncomfortable in hot weather. I don't fare well in hot weather. Yeah. That was a lot. Tarot, my first and last. Oh, okay. Well, my first ever is the one, I probably should have read through these questions a little better. So my first ever tarot was this kind. Right? But no, I'm going to go with the chronological chronological, and I will be right back. And I'm back. Okay, so sorry, I was just making sure that was recording. So my first tarot was one of these, okay? But if I'm going to share, if I'm going to be if I'm going to stick to, chronologically, then of all my tarot decks, this one is my oldest. And it's not my first, but it's my second, because I don't have my original first tarot deck, but it looked exactly like the Rider-Waite I showed you. Not this box. This one. Just the 1980s one. Oh my God. Yeah. And then this was the one I got after. This was my second tarot deck, and it's a Morgan Greer, as you can see, because I'm showing you the backs, because I don't know why. I love this King of Cups. He looks exactly like someone I grew up with, a guy I went to school with. Looks exactly like him, and his personality was totally King of Cups. So yeah, so this was my first, or to be more precise, second tarot deck. And my last one is one of two that my husband got me as part of the wedding anniversary present, or was this Valentine's? I don't know. February is a celebration month for us. It's when we first met. There's Valentine's Day, and which we only used to care about when we could eat chocolate. Widely, like normal chocolate, right, with sugar, because that was the day we went shopping for discounted chocolate. Anyway, and treats and stuff like that. But no, it's the anniversary. It's the anniversary when we met. We met on February 20th, and our wedding anniversary, which is February 29th. But we're talking about tarot decks. So my most recent tarot deck is one of two. The other one is still in transit, and it's the Animal Wise Tarot by Ted Andrews. This is the one that's currently available, and I'm waiting for my first edition that I got from Evil Bay. Like, this one was from Amazon. Although on Amazon Canada, the picture they show, the product they show is the first edition. You don't get the first edition. This is what arrived, but that's fine, because I wanted both, because I saw Earth Fairy Andrea Leah. Adrian Leah Grace. My pronunciation is like those of you from Montreal. Sometimes it slips right into like Saint Leonard. Anyway, Adrian Leah, Earth Fairy. If you go to her channel, she has a beautiful video where she compares the two, the first edition and this one. Interestingly enough, these burgundy borders are not, half the deck have a paler burgundy and the other half like random cards, like not even the specific suits have a darker burgundy inner border, so I don't know what that's about. Probably some kind of printing mingus. But yeah, this is my most recent deck, and I look forward to getting to know it. And it's a first edition sibling. I really should be paying attention and just finishing up this tag. Okay, tarot. Upset. What upsets you the most? People who lie to my face. I'm a human lie detector. Unfortunately, I'm not bragging. I have to tell you, it is it's one of the worst things I could think of to be. Well, maybe because it's my experience, but being a human lie detector, where someone is speaking to you and you can tell the difference. You can tell that what they're saying is not really what they're thinking, which that's fine, right? It's like, you know, okay, there's like it's not congruent. But when someone just looks me straight in the eye and tells me an absolute lie that I can confirm, it's like waving red cape in front of bull. Vlog. Which are you most proud of, and which is your most popular? I don't know. Which vlog am I most proud of? I'm just proud of myself for having taken the plunge and started a channel. So I guess I'm most proud of my first one. And then I'm most proud of maybe my fourth or fifth one, because even though I struggled at the start, I persisted. So yeah, but my first one, the first one I ever recorded and finally uploaded, because I had recorded a few and hadn't uploaded them, but the one I finally uploaded, my first video, is the one I'm most proud of, actually taking the plunge. And which is my most popular? I don't know. So I don't look at analytics, because that's not why I started this channel. And so I don't know which is my most popular. But if I go by what I find people, like the comments I reply to the most, or the emails I get the most, like the subject matter, I think it would have to be my Malocchio video. Either the first or second. I think it's the one with the Malocchio cure. That must be my most popular, because I get the most questions about that one. But yeah, I haven't looked at. I don't know which one's my most popular, and I really didn't spend much. I don't spend much time behind the scenes on YouTube looking at these things, because I don't edit and I don't. You know what I mean? Like, well, you know what you get here, right? It's cinema verite. Anyway. Weakness. Chocolate. X-rated. Tell us something naughty you've done. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry. Yesteryear. Your favorite year so far and why? So, I think my favorite year is 1997, and it's because it was a major. I went through a tremendous what we now refer to, or in tarot community, as a tower moment. 1997. Yeah, I think 1997 is when the shit hit the fan and my whole life blew up. And it was both painful and exhilarating all at the same time. but I don't dwell on that year. It's one of my favorite years. It's a turning point. It was a turning point for me. It was it was a crossroads. It was tower. It was judgment. Like in the language of tarot, it was tower. It was judgment. It was incredible, and in every aspect of my life. Um, yeah, it was death. It was death. It was rebirth. It was destruction and rebuilding, and the beginning of rebuilding. It was reinvention. It was incredible, and I attribute my current happiness to the fact that I, like the Fool card, just walked right off the cliff into that change, or I don't even know, that it was a profound experience on all levels. Okay, Zen. What do you do to relax, stay calm? I'm not. I struggle with relaxing and staying calm. I can stay calm on the outside, but on the inside, it's not Zen. What do I do to relax, stay calm? I think one thing I can share that I do, I guess it would be the equivalent of a little girl visiting her dollhouse, is that I visit my perfume collection and sniff the different perfumes. For those of you tuning in for the first time or haven't seen those videos or I mention it, I collect vintage perfume, not museum type perfume, but fragrances from my past, fragrances that conjure memories of people that are no longer living, that I love and miss, and I just love perfume, and they conjure memories of certain decades. I specifically, the bulk of my collection are perfumes that were popular in the 1970s. So there's that childhood, ties me back to that childhood nostalgia. So yeah, that's one thing that I do to relax. I'm sure there's other things too, but that's the first one that came to mind. So yeah, wow. So that was Tarot Tuber A to Z, or A to Z, and that was. I'm looking at the time, and that's a pretty long video. If you stayed for the whole thing, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I'm wishing you all a beautiful day. Bye bye.